Kyle, you're coming off your second win of the season at Kentucky and have had a lot of success at New Hampshire across all 3 national series. Talk about returning to the track and keeping up with the momentum your team has built over the past few weeks.
Well, certainly over the last few weeks we've done a decent job at being able to run up front, contend for wins, and obviously that momentum's just kind of starting to build, and we hope to continue that on here this weekend at New Hampshire. So look forward to the Interstate Batteries Camry and making sure we can have another good strong run here. Remember, I think it was 2 years ago we finished second both times. Last year we had some really good runs and some opportunities to finish well. Our car started the races really good. It seemed like other guys made some good adjustments throughout the race and kind of got better than us. But hopefully here this weekend we can work on that, fix those problems, and still continue on to have some decent runs here to try to salvage some more wins.
We'll go ahead and open it up to questions. We'll start up here with Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. When you started the season, you guys know what the parameters are to make the chase, and that's kind of like the first goal. But do you feel like you have an even bigger goal sitting there because you know pretty much precisely what you have to do now to make the chase in your abbreviated run towards that goal?
I think everybody's got the same goals as to make the chase, and to get those wins and to be top 30. I think if we were a guy or a team that was sort of 13th through 16th, whatever, and didn't have wins, then we'd be in the same position we're in right now. We're racing for points. We got to get those points to be the highest eligible guy without the win. But our circumstances are a little different. We've got wins, and yet we still seem to be out. So we're just doing the best job that we can each and every week to continue to put good cars on the racetrack. Adam and the guys have done a phenomenal job of that so far this year, and especially with me being in the car, I've been real happy with things, and we just got to keep that going.
All right, we'll go to Kenny and then Claire.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Kyle, I don't like to deal in what ifs, but do you feel like you guys would be further ahead from a competitive standpoint had you not missed the races? Or do you feel like you guys are about where you would have been had you not been out of the car?
I don't know that me missing races was any sort of setback to the organization. Maybe just within the drivers, Carl, Matt, and Denny, just us all being able to work together and talk amongst ourselves and things in that nature. But as far as our cars and things like that, JGR, our engineering department, and our production staff, they kind of have a plan in place, and we get cars when we get cars. So I'm not sure me being in the seat would have made any difference to them. They work as hard as they can each and every day, and we're all real appreciative of them and the job that they do because, it's tough to keep up in this day and age in the Sprint Cup Series, and yet, we kind of saw that, a little bit last year and maybe somewhat of the year before that we were kind of falling behind, and guys really went to work, and we got some smart people over the off season with being able to add on the 4th team with Carl, and that just alleviated us to get some better people, more people I should say, and some smart people as well too that could just work on our cars and try to build speed, and that's what they've done.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I know you're a look forward kind of guy. You don't want to look back to accidents and those sorts of things. That's just how drivers are. But how much do you use that now? How much has it changed you? How much do you still kind of keep in your mind that you got this great opportunity, you're doing great, you're physically great, and that it somehow has changed you in a positive way at this point?
Well, I think anytime you go through any person that goes through the kind of setbacks that I went through, I think it always changes you a little bit. Some look towards the brighter side of things, and others, tend to look towards the darker side of things. So, fortunately for me and everybody that I've had around me, including my wife and now my son and family, friends, it's been really fun to come out of this experience and to be able to grow in a little bit and to just maybe enjoy things a little bit differently, and that's what it's been all about. But more so than just all that, it's you get back in the race car and you run well and you're happy with your team, and then you win races, and winning cures all. I mean, that's just sort of the statement that I think many drivers would attest to. But we've certainly had some good runs and been real positive here as of late.
We'll go to Mike Vega, and then Alan.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Kyle, you've always been one of those guys. You like to get up front. You like to lead laps in charge, and that's made you, that's allowed you to put up some amazing numbers, laps led, and all that kind of thing. Now with the situation where you have the 2 wins, it's all about points as far as you qualifying at this point for the chase. Is that in the back of your mind at all when you're racing, that I need to think a little bit more about points than trying to push to the front, or no?
Yeah, certainly. I think Dover was a prime example of that. I was running third and had Truex kind of breathing down me a little bit, so I was trying to get through the lap traffic. And, if I didn't have Truex on me, I could have probably, just let the circumstances play out a little differently getting into turn 3. But I didn't have that luxury, so you live and you learn, and certainly there's some situations that I'd like to have back, but it is what it is. So we'll just continue to race as hard as we can and yet as smart as we can. I know that's kind of a double-edged sword sometimes. It certainly is, but I feel like I'm smart enough, and Adam and my team, we're all good enough that we can do those things, and I believe we'll be just fine.
Kyle, Mike Vega, Boston Globe. Good to see you here. And just wanted to ask you, I know that with the win at Kentucky last week, you probably wanted to do a backflip off the side door, but you probably can't do those things now. But how much pain are you managing right now, and how different is it, or how better, or how much has it improved for you from the first time you got in the car to now?
Yeah, well, winning cures all, and seems like last week at Kentucky, the good runs we had there, and my foot's felt a lot better, but I wouldn't attribute it to that. Just it's early on. I probably mentioned at Charlotte that I wasn't dealing with much pain, and I really wasn't. There's times where it flares up and it gets bad, and you have some good days and you have some bad days, but the more and more we get going here, the more and more good days I seem to have, and just trying to get through the inflammation and stuff like that I had in my foot through my ankle and everything has gotten a lot better. So it's really, to be honest with you, I feel 100% behind the wheel in the car. I can push the brakes real well. I think we saw that at Sonoma. I started to feel a little bit of pain with about 25 to go, but then you get the adrenaline to really take over and get going when you're having a shot for a win, and you don't feel anything till the next day afterwards. Everything kind of calms back down. But last week at Kentucky, everything went real well, real smooth. I actually got out of the car and walked around for all the media stuff afterwards, and didn't really feel any ill effects. So it's getting better.
If anything has been bothersome, has it been the leg or the foot?
The foot has definitely been a lot worse. Yeah, no. If it was only the leg that got injured in Daytona, I probably would have been back 3 weeks sooner than I was. I felt like Texas, the leg was ready to go. But, the foot's just kind of been a little bit worse just because there's so many bones in your foot. I think there's over 100 muscles in your foot, but there's over 30 bones or something in your foot. So it's complicated down there. That's what the doctor said. It's complicated.
Alan Cavana, Fox Sports. You guys don't go to another mile and a half until Chicago, and then it's in the chase, and they're all really important after that. How prepared do you feel your team is for those mile and a halves, and how can you improve if you're not racing on them in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you look at right now is just how we have run at the mile and a half this year. I think JGR as a whole has been a little bit up. California, we were up, and so I look forward to getting back to those racetracks. I feel like we'll be okay, and we can definitely run top 10. And I felt like Kentucky's been a really good place for us over the years, for the 18 team and for JGR as a whole. We all ran pretty competitive there last year. I think Kenseth won 2 years ago, so that's a good place for us. But going to Chicago, same thing. I feel like Chicago's been a good place for me. I've run well there. The one obviously that would probably be most worrisome if and when we do make the chase, that would be Kansas, just going there. But that track seems to have widened out a little bit. I saw the spring race this year. It got 2-3 lanes wide. So, that's what we like. And for drivers, it gives us options to kind of move around. We saw that at Kentucky last week, got 4 lanes and it was really fun.
Drew Mon from the Concord Monitor. Kyle, when you think about the gap to make it into the chase, do you find yourself playing that numbers game at all? Like, I need to, what these guys need to average, what I need to average, or do you just kind of focus on, race by race and just your job? And and coming here, it's a place where you're often in the mix, a place where you're often in the running. How big is it to come to a place like this with the gap you need to make up?
Yeah, so the only numbers game that I've really played is the Dover, Michigan numbers that I gave away. You know, I feel like I probably gave away 60 points in those two, so I'd be 17 out right now, which would be essentially nothing. You know, we might even make that up here this weekend, but that's irrelevant. You know, we're 87, so that's the number we look at. But to be honest with you, we just go out every week and try to perform at our best, and we know that our best will put us in a good enough spot in order to gather those points to get in the top 30 in points. So we'll be fine. We just got to do the right things, and you know, if this Sunday's an 8th place finish, then that's what it is. If it's a 12th, then that's what it is. You know, it'll get us there a little bit slower, but you know, if we can get a win or, you know, top 5 like we should be here, that's the way I've run here the last few times. I feel like we've had some really good cars. Last fall, I think I got caught up in some carnage with Kenseth that, you know, knocked our nose in and whatever, and, you know, we still ended up 8th somehow, so it wasn't too terrible. So as bad as that day could have been, you know, we finished top 10. So I feel pretty promising that we can have a good run here.
All right, we'll go to the gentleman in the back and finish up with Kenny Bruce.
Gordon Kirby, Motorsport Magazine. Kyle, NASCAR's been working real hard to try and balance out the whole aero-mechanical side of things, and this is a big issue in all kinds of racing, Formula One, Indy cars. Everybody's struggling with this whole thing. NASCAR's putting a lot of effort into it, it seems. What's your general opinion of, are they going in the right direction, and are they tackling this in the right way?
Yeah, so I believe that NASCAR's given every effort to, you know, put better racing, put a better product out there on the racetrack for the race fans. You know, some things, sometimes it makes me laugh. You know, race fans, they'll say, man, the racing back in the 70s or the 80s or whatever it might have been was awesome. You know, it was so much fun. It's so cool to watch those highlight reels. And really, the highlight reels are cool, but the races were boring. There was 3 cars on the lead lap, you know. So really, now you've got 30 cars every single week that are on the lead lap, you know. But I don't know. It's I don't know if having 3 cars on the lead lap would be more exciting to these fans or not, but certainly I feel like NASCAR's done a really good job of trying some different things, and to do it in the middle of the season, I don't know that they've ever really done that before. You know, that it just shows that, you know, we all have a job to do, and NASCAR included has a job to do. So, you know, the Kentucky race I felt like was an A+. I don't know that, I mean, besides being all closer together, you know, you could have put on a better race. But I thought that the finish, I thought that the excitement around the race was pretty good. You know, of course, restarts is always, you're always going to have cars around each other on restarts, you know. And they do single file out. Even at short tracks, they single file out, you know. So the less downforce package last week was good. I felt positive about it. I know our team ran well, so maybe that's why. But past that, you know, the other aero packages that we're going to run at Indy and Kentucky, or Michigan, I mean, are going to be different. You know, we're not sure what to expect, really. I know a couple guys tested it this week, but we'll see how all that pans out, and if it produces exactly what NASCAR is looking for. I'm not 100% certain it will, but you know, sometimes I'm not always the most skeptical person out there, or positive person, I should say. But you know, I think different packages for different racetracks is not such a bad thing. I do agree with Tony Stewart that you know, someone's got to help these race teams with these costs of all these different packages, though. It's not always cheap, especially with 4 teams. You know, we all certainly didn't budget for different aero packages in the beginning of the year, and now we've got to rework our budgets in order to fit that in. So it gets a little challenging sometimes.
Kenny, do you still have a question?
No, that was it. That was
All
basically
right.
it.
Thanks for joining us, Kyle, and good luck.
Thanks.